In this video, we're going to talk about how to add and subtract functions with inputs. So yesterday we talked about adding and subtracting functions if I just had function rules. So for example, f of x plus g of x. Remember, I just rewrite what the rule for f is, rewrite what the rule for g is, and then combine. Now, let's suppose instead of in my input spot, instead of an x, I have a number. So remember that inside parentheses, this doesn't mean g times 2. This means g with an input of 2. So what does that look like? So written out, here's what I'm typing into my calculator. G of 2 translates into, go to rule G, find my rule, and input a negative 2. Input a positive 2. So negative 2 times 2 minus 10. And I'm going to simplify that big chunk. And then I'm going to add it together with h with an input of 2. So here's rule h with an input of 2. Looks like this. 7 times 2 minus 5. And I'm going to simplify that chunk and then add them together. So what do I mean by simplify that chunk? In my calculator or in my head, I simplify this thing. Negative 2 times 2 is negative 4. And negative 4 minus 10 is negative 14. So this translates to negative 14 plus, now I'll simplify the second part. 7 times 2 is 14, minus 5 is 9. And what do I get when I add those two values together? Negative 14 plus 9 is a negative 5. So f of 4 is 3 parentheses 4 plus 7. I'm going to replace the 4 in my equation with the 4, plus g is negative 2, input of negative 2, minus 10. I'm going to simplify both of those parts. 3 times 4 is 12, plus 7, 12 plus 7 is 19. So this translates to 19 plus negative 2 times negative 2 is positive 4. Minus 10 is negative 6. So this translates to 19 plus negative 6, which simplifies to a total of 13. All right, now this last example looks different than the first two. And so generally people look at this and say, huh? Wait, what? What do I do? Remember that if there was a variable here, my answer is going to keep a variable. But since this is a 6, my answer is going to be a number instead. This 6 is my input because it's only written once. It's my input for both of them. That 6 is in the parentheses after the f and the h. So here's what that looks like. F is going to be 3 times 6 plus 7. Okay, that's my f with an input of 6. Plus my h with an input of 6 is 7 times 6 minus 5. So let's simplify that. Both of those chunks. 3 times 6 is 18. Plus 7 is 25. 7 times 6 is 42. And 42 minus 5 is 37. What does it ask me to do? It asks me to add those together. So 25 plus 37 is a grand total of 62. And that would be my final answer. So notice on each of these problems, because I have a number as my input, I have a number answer. All right, so let's look at subtraction. Do I have to do anything differently? With subtraction, I just need to make sure I put parentheses around whatever I'm subtracting, just like with my function problems. So if I am inputting 3 for g, that's going to look like this. Negative 2 times 3. Where am I getting that equation from? From up here. Negative 2 times 3 minus 10. I'm going to simplify that. Negative 2 times 3 is negative 6. Minus 10 is negative 16. So So I end up with negative 16 minus, well, let's see what h of 3 simplifies to be. So here's h, 7 times 3 minus 5. So 21 minus 5 is a grand total of 16. So negative 16 minus 16 is negative 32. We're going to skip example number 2 and just move on to question number 3 so that we get extra practice. But what is it when I only have one input and it's after both of the two function names? Remember, I plug them into both. So if I plug it into h, I have 7 times 4 minus 5 minus, and if I plug it into f, 3 times 4 plus 7. And I simplify. 7 times 4 is 28, minus 5 is 23, minus, now let's simplify this part, that's 12, plus 7 is 19, so 23 minus 19 is a grand total of 4. And that's my answer. All right. Last problem. What do I do when there's 3 things? All right, here's what I'm going to do. I am going to plug in each of these separately. So for h, I have 7 times 4 minus 5. Then I'm going to minus, I'm plugging in for g, negative 2 times 3 minus 10 plus g of negative 3. So negative 2 times negative 3 minus 10. And I'm chunking these all together. Okay, so 7 times 4 was 28, minus 5 is 23. So I'm going to simplify all of that, minus, now I'm going to simplify all of this. Negative 2 times 3 is negative 6, minus 10 is negative 16. So I have a minus, parentheses, negative 16, plus negative 2 times negative 3 is positive 6, minus 10 is negative 4. So let's add all these together. 23 minus the negative means I add, and you can just type this in your calculator if you want to. These two together give me a grand total of 39, plus a negative 4 gives me a grand total of 35. And that would be my final answer. If you have any questions, please send me an email, ask a neighbor, and have a great day.